Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure this evening to be here. I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Sharon Stroy, Director of Public Engagement in the School of Public Affairs and Administration. In this role, it is my pleasure to create events for our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community partners to engage in the field of public administration, public service, nonprofit administration, and how we can change the world for everyone else. Today, I am honored that we will have a conversation with Mayor Jaylen Smith, the youngest elected mayor in Earle, Arkansas. Jaylen Smith is a native of Earle, Arkansas for 18 years. He is the newly elected mayor, elected in December of 2022. Prior to becoming mayor, Smith served as the president of Earle's High School Student Government Association, class president, a member of Career and Technical Student Organization, Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, and acted as president of Student Voice. He is currently known and globally recognized as the youngest African-American mayor in the history of the United States government. And this momentous achievement has opened doors for appearances on the Jennifer Hudson Show, the Tawana Murphy Show, and the Roland Martin Show, amongst others. Mayor Jaylen Smith currently lives in Earle, Arkansas, where he is surrounded by the love, respect, and support of his family and team of governmental colleagues. Faith and focus are his priorities. Therefore, he believes that individuals are never too young to want to make a difference in their communities and look forward to working on building a better chapter for Earle during this time. Our moderator for this evening is our very own Professor Michael Dillard. Dr. Michael Dillard is the assistant teaching professor and director of the undergraduate program in the School of Public Affairs and Administration at Rutgers University Newark. Professor Dillard previously served as the director of the Rutgers Are You Ready for Work program, where under his leadership, the program created a pipeline of students with 100% high school graduation and college acceptance rates. With about 60% of those students pursuing degrees in Newark, his research interests center around non-traditional students, particularly where services and programs are being created that enable them to thrive. Before we begin our conversation tonight, it is my pleasure to introduce Council President LaMonica McIver to offer welcoming remarks to Mayor Smith. Welcome him to the city of Newark. LaMonica McIver is currently serving as the Municipal Council President in the city of Newark, New Jersey. She serves the Central Ward, where she was born and raised. Rutgers University Newark is located in the Central Ward, and she is friend and family to SPA. Council President McIver is a public educator who has spent her life working in her community as a dedicated public servant, founder of Newark Gals, and founding trustee of the Believe in Newark Foundation, after earning an undergraduate degree in English literature from Bloomfield College and a master's degree in educational leadership and policy from Seton Hall University. She began her professional career as a school leader, educator, and HR professional at a host of public school districts in New Jersey. Her mission remains unchanged, fighting for the quality of life for all residents in the city of Newark. Since finding her love of community at age 11, she has not stopped serving the community. She serves in whatever capacity needed.
Okay, so then this is why, again, the issue with technology, but I will just kind of sort of jump in. And this is something that myself and Council President LaMonica McIver were certainly used to.
But I mean, at this point, Professor Dillard, I think I could just jump in at this point and sake
absolutely.
Of time.
So students, faculty, and staff, just allow me to just kind of reiterate that, LaMonica is certainly a family member of, the School of Public Affairs and Administration. And so, because of that, we thought that it was really important to have her, to welcome Mayor Jaylen Smith virtually to the city of Newark, New Jersey. So without further ado, Council President LaMonica McIver.
Thank you, Professor Dillard, Dr. Dillard. It's a pleasure to be here. Good evening to everyone. I was looking at the attendee list and I thought to myself, well, I hope it's some new people who are on here and not all of my regular students of SPA who have to hear the bio for the 50th time on here. So it was funny to me listening to Sharon read it, but it's a pleasure for me to be back with you guys again. As always, when you guys send the invitation, no matter what I'm doing, I make myself available because that's how important Rutgers and this program is to me. I want to do the complete honor. It is such an honor and privilege to be on today with Mayor Smith. Welcome, Mayor Smith, virtually. We got to get you here in Newark, or I got to come out to Earle one day to check you out, but we are grateful to have you participating in this discussion. I'm sure that you are very busy, but we are all intrigued and definitely excited to hear conversation from you and to be able to converse with you. As a young elected, I'm pretty much really old compared to you, but at the same time, as a young elected in my field here in the great city of Newark, definitely I understand what it's like to be a young leader and all of the challenges and things that, you have ahead of you and all of the things that you've already, hurdled in your time. But definitely it is a pleasure for us to have you on. And I'm so looking forward to the conversation. So welcome, and definitely looking forward to doing this in person one day. Thank you, Dr. Dillard, and thank you, Sharon, for allowing me to be on this evening.
Absolutely. So again, Sharon, welcome back. No worries. Both myself and Council President McIver, we were able to take over. But the overall purpose and idea, in terms of just the audience, I just want you to overall know and recognize that here we have this young man, this young African American, who's the youngest mayor in the United States. And to me personally, that represents so much. That is so critical, it's so crucial, and it's important that we see people that look like us, that come from similar backgrounds and challenges. And it shows that, there's endless possibilities out there. As long as you're working hard and you're pushing through, you can get through anything. So I knew certainly that I had to reach out somehow to this young man to get him to join the SPA family, to talk about his trajectory overall, how he got to where he is. And he's done so much in just this short span in terms of 18 years overall. So Mayor Smith, without further ado, I want to be able to have this, informal conversation with you overall in terms of a few questions that I have already prepared for you. But more importantly, I want the audience members to place your questions in the chat box feature. So that way, after we are completed with the discussion between myself and Mayor Smith, then Sharon Stroy will jump back in to moderate those questions regarding what questions that, the audience members might have. But I know one pressing question that everyone on this, Zoom call will want to know from you, Mayor Smith, overall is, what made you decide to run for public office? What made you decide to run for mayor of Earle, Arkansas?
Okay. Thank you all again for having me here tonight. I'm very grateful to be a part of this amazing conversation. To answer that question, what I will do, I will go back into my background of the why and the how of how I got where I am today. And so with that being said, so when I got to high school, I got to high school, I had two guys approach me about joining this particular organization called Student Council. And so at the time, I didn't know what that organization was or what was student government or student council. And so I went home, I prayed about it. I looked in the mirror and asked myself, do I believe it to myself? And I prayed, and God gave me the go ahead to join that particular organization. And so the next day, going back to school, I joined the organization. I got involved more in the school. Not only I got more involved in the school, but I got more involved in the community. At that point, I started going to city council meetings, county commission meetings, justice of the peace meetings, state legislative meetings, board of education meeting, any public meeting that was open to the public, I was there because I wanted to learn. And based on me going to those meetings, The same thing I was doing in that student council, it's basically how city government works. And so with being more involved in the organization and making a big impact and making a difference in the school and some portion of making a difference in the community, but not much, I wanted to do more before I moved on to the next phase of life. And so with me doing that, I had to pour into my community before I left. And so that organization particularly drove me or motivated me to make a difference and made me or motivated me more to run for public office. And so with me running for public office, I knew that it wasn't going to be easy to run for public office because I was young and Black. And so on the front end, I knew that I was going to have obstacles, challenges, and distractions. But I kept my eye on the prize regardless of what people said or what people talk, or whatever conversations people had said about me. I continued to fight the fight because I knew that I was going to have that in the long run. But I did not let those distractions nor challenges stop me from doing what I wanted to do. But that's pretty much the background of me, of how I got to where I'm at now. And so what was it? I think that's to answer your question, right?
Yeah, and so let me just kind of further elaborate on that too then, Mayor. So it seems like you had this passion for and this drive of public service and, you know, active citizen engagement, where it originally started as a high school student, you know, and being actively involved in your school programs, more importantly, student government association. And I think that that's a great start, right? Because that gave you a taste of active, responsible citizenship and recognizing that, you know, there are a number of pressing problems that are going on within your own community. And you were able to kind of, you know, continue to persevere. Tell us a little bit about, because obviously we're in New Jersey, but give us a little bit more information in terms of Earle, Arkansas. We would love to know a little bit more about your town.
Okay. Earle, Arkansas is a community surrounded by a lot of farmland. Pretty much a little small town in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by a whole lot of farmland where they grow crops, and beans. And Earle is a community where we don't consider saying we just a community. We consider ourselves as one big family. When families fall short, we come together as a community to help one another. And Earle is 80% Black and 20% white here in this community. We're a municipality community where we are a community where people don't have a lot of opportunities, don't have a lot of jobs. We have an educational system still here, but we're a community where we don't have a lot of jobs. A lot of people stay here that's low income within this community.
Well said. So one of the things that I noticed, and I'm quite sure everyone on this call had the opportunity to just, you know, kind of take a look over the website in terms of Earle, Arkansas, and then just did some further research on their own. But one of the things that I noticed that it just kind of rang out to me, I'm just saying to myself, well, wow, okay, so some of the things that you were focusing on in terms of your campaign mission, your campaign focus itself was improving transportation, you know, having, you know, public safety. I found it, you know, somewhat interesting that you guys do not have a 24/7 police department. You know, and when there's emergencies that are coming up, you know, you have to rely on county officers, and that can be, you know, at least a 30 to 40-minute drive, depending on where the sheriff's office is located, to get into the township of Earle. And then another, you know, pressing issue that you really wanted to focus on was increasing resident access to food resources overall. So can you kind of just tell me what, you know, in terms of your campaign fight itself, so to speak, then why those three particular issues? Then how did you, you know, what were some of your strategies in terms of kind of thinking through, you know, why I not only want to become the mayor, but how am I going to really address those three pressing issues for my township residents?
Oh, great question. Those were some of the issues that I had on down the line, but it was a lot more issues than those three. And so with over the years of how Earle has decreased or Earle has declined growth within this community and the problems that they were facing before I was even born. So those issues, so we were facing public safety issues, we were facing public transportation, grocery store, housing, drainage system, and streets, and a whole lot more. But in particularly, I basically ran in the Pacific, on a Pacific scale of public safety, beautification, abandoned houses, new houses, public transportation, grocery store, streets, and water and sewer systems. And so that was the original plan I basically ran on. But the important piece out of those things, the important piece was public safety. Earle we do not have a 24/7 police department, but we got it to a way now that all our shifts is pretty much covered from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight, Monday through Sunday. Sunday is Sunday to Sunday, I'll say that. And so we're looking to find more resources from not only from our county agents, our county officials, but from our state officials to see what are some ways that they can help us fund more police officers. Because again, we're a small community, we have a big budget, $1 billion budget, which I wish we did, but we don't. And so we're trying to find out other resources that can help us based on our public safety issue, because it is that we have to, after a certain time of night, but after midnight, when we get calls, different things, we have to wait 30, 40 minutes on the county. But the great thing about Earle crime is not as bad as it was in the year of 2022, in the beginning of the year 2022. So Earle on average, probably 5 calls a day now. That's at the most. Today, we probably had like roughly 2 calls already. But through an entire day, we roughly get 5 calls. If not 5, some days we won't get no calls. But to have that public safety is there to let our citizens know that we have officers here that can respond quickly and affect those calls when you call them. And so the next issue we're facing is a grocery store. And so Earle had a grocery store 5 years back, and it closed due to some theft going on, a lot of hot things. But I want to bring a grocery store back into this community because a near grocery store from us is like 25 minutes. So we have to go to Marion, Arkansas, West Memphis, Arkansas, and different places like that to get groceries. And a lot of people have public transportation. And so with having a grocery store within the community that people can go shop to get those groceries, so it won't break them more so on their end, because a lot of people in this community don't have a lot of money. And so with having that grocery store, especially for our senior citizens, it would help them help them better. Because, okay, the grocery store here in the community, they're going up the street. It's not much to take them to the grocery store up the street and not paying $50 to $100 on transportation to go to another city to get groceries. And so that's the important piece with the grocery store and public transportation. It's very important for our senior citizens because they have the doctor's appointments and everything they have to go to. But we have been so blessed that our doctor offices here go pick up our senior citizens to help them get groceries, take them to their appointments, and do different things. We have been blessed with that. But we want to expand that, to have a public transportation here within the community. When the senior citizens call, not only to go to the grocery store, but we want to have that transportation that they can help take them to the grocery store. When we do our prepackaged food drives here, that those public transportation can go by their house and take them their food and different things like that. That's probably pretty much why I wanted to, and I'm continuing to be passionate and dedicated to getting those things into the community, because I know our senior citizens need the help more so than our youth and our young people. Our senior citizens need more help with that grocery store and that public transportation.
Well, you said it right, sir. And so, one of the things that we as a school, an academic school, Rutgers School of Public Affairs and Administration, we are training our students to go out there to tackle some of those similar problems based on the theoretical frameworks and, everything that they're learning throughout their academic career. So one of the questions I want to kind of follow up based on what you just simply said to us, what are some of your strategies, though, for transforming your community? Because again, you talked about obviously those pressing issues around, public transportation, public safety, having a grocery store. But what are those actual strategies for tackling those particular problems that you've implemented?
Well, the strategy plan on those issues is found out which we got that why and the how, and the improvement piece of how can it be beneficial, and the implementation piece of how that can be once we define the issue, which we have defined the issue. So I'm gonna use public safety as an example that we're for one of our for the plan. So we knew that public safety was an issue. So that's defining the issue. And the why of that issue. Why is it? Because we don't have a lot of funding to help pay police officers. And the how is getting those resources to help pay the salaries to help you keep officers. And so the why, we define the problem, the how of it, and the implementation. And so within Arkansas, with us, we actually just received a resource funding, which is a grant for officers with here to help fund officers. And so what that is, the grant will pay those officers for 3 years, but we have to have a implementation plan to how we can keep those officers. And so we're just finding out the strategies and the creative ways of how we can keep those officers. And so basically, once you define the problem, the how of the problem, how can they improve your community, and getting the resource piece of it to get people to get the resource to implement the problem. And pretty much with public safety, public transportation, and grocery store, our state pretty much have different funding sources we can hit to do that. And so now with our grocery store, one of our former presidents is taking on that role to get that issue resolved with us. So I don't have to really pretty much do anything with that. So it's just been, taking that. So that's kind of been very off with me. So with that grocery store plan, a former president is taking that on to himself, that he's going to handle, and he's going to kind of see what he can do to get the grocery store. And so with the public transportation, it's going to be a more difficult piece to fry within that puzzle, because Earle is, again, a small municipality community, and it's hard getting like those big, not even the buses, but like a van company to come in and help. And so we're just still working with our city councils, our state legislators, to see what are ways that we can get a public transportation company here to help us out. And so with having that strategy plan, it's like a whole lot to go within that plan of public transportation. And plus, matter of fact, it's a lot to cover because it's a small community. And it's hard to get people to attract it to a small community because they don't see, well, it's not a lot of opportunities there. How can our business benefit in that community? And so it's kind of a hard strategic plan when it comes behind those pretty much things. I don't want to break it down so much because it's really hard, and it's so piece by piece, step by step, to making sure you get those right people to come in and help with your community.
No, well said. So I guess, overall, obviously, there's so many nuances, right? And there's so many, challenges to get through. Welcome to public administration. But the great thing about it is I know you're going to succeed and you're going to do well as a mayor, because you've got a great city council that's backing you, that's going to support some of those ideas. You bring different, business administrators, you bring, both the private and the public sectors together, and you work through those types of challenges. There's some buzzwords that kind of came out of your discussion that you were just kind of talking about in terms of, grant writing and, funding different types of programs. And we offer those types of courses here at SPY in terms of leadership for the service professions, how to be an effective leader, communication skills, and all those things that you need to be an effective leader. But most importantly, too, how do you fund those projects? How do you fund your nonprofit organization? How do you, use those funds to overall support your township and some of the services that you are trying to provide? And so again, I think you're doing a great job on that. One of the things that I noticed a few days ago, I went back to YouTube and I was going through the interview that you had on the Jennifer Hudson show. And man, you got a lot going on in terms of just, you just finished obviously high school, you're in college and everything like that. How do you balance your time in terms of time management of running a township? And we all know that's a 24-hour job. There's always a lot going on in terms of running either a large city, a small rural area, or a small township. And so how do you kind of manage your time with all that you have overall on your plate, Mayor Smith?
How I balance that, one with me. So what I do now, I have I have this full-time job, I have college, I have another job that I do. And so with me, to balance it, I found out what are the main priorities to me. So mayor job is not an 8 to 4 job, it's a 24/7 job. And with my college work, I'm being blessed because my college is online. And so with my other job, it's just on the weekend. So with me having going to college or doing my college work, I have to submit work every 2 weeks. And so I have plenty of time to work on it at my own pace to get it done. And it's pretty much how I pretty much prioritize my time with that and balancing work, school, and work. Then a personal life. So defining what are the priorities are to me and having that time to map out some exploring peace and different things like that to kind of help me.
No, absolutely. I think, you know, obviously, again, you're getting it done, but certainly it's not an easy task. And I think, you know, the moral of this particular story is just, you know, somehow trying to prioritize what comes first and still making time overall for your own self-care, because that's obviously important too. You know, being a full-time student online is certainly not easy, and navigating through those different types of learning management systems, then running a city or a township, which we all know there's no such a thing as a 9 to 5 or 8:30 to 4:30 when you're running a town as a mayor. And then you just simply also said that you have a part-time job on the weekend. So you're just, yeah, you got your hands involved in a lot, but I know you're going to get through it. I have another question for you, because I know, you know, obviously being 18, you know, being a young Black mayor out in Earle, Arkansas, you're going to have a lot of, you know, doubt out there. You're going to have a lot of naysayers. You're going to have a lot of critics out there. There are going to challenge you. You're 18. You don't have the actual, you know, experience overall, the professional experience, or maybe, you know, you haven't been a mayor before. And I know obviously your wonderful track record and everything you've done, but I want you to be able to say this to other folks that's on this call and those that are going to watch this call, you know, days from now, weeks from now, years from now. What do you say in terms of those naysayers or those critics out there that will question your age, will question whether or not you're ready for this type of a primetime role as a mayor? What do you say to folks?
Great question. So with me, as I get negative comments and negative feedback, to me, it's just motivation to prove them wrong. And so I actually love negative comments and different things like that. Let me tell you why. With me, I have a team of people. And on that team of people, I have somebody that's always difficult in everything I do. And with them being difficult, and what they're doing, that why they're being difficult, they're only preparing me to keep me sharp, keep me on my toes. So anything I do with bringing ideas or just doing things I want to do, I have one person that's always difficult in everything I do to keep me sharp. When the people that's negative come to me, I'm already prepared for them. And so when they come to me, I'd be like, thank you. I really appreciate that comment, because I already have somebody on my team that's doing that. So I'm prepared for it. And so with negative comments, it just motivates me to prove them wrong. And it just motivates me to, you know, be an inspiration to others, that people that's actually, that can't take negativity. And it's just nothing, it just basically just keeping you sharp, really. And so, and this has just been great.
No, absolutely. And I know that, you know, personally, Council President LaMonica McIver can certainly agree with everything that you're saying regarding that. You're going to have criticism. You're going to have folks critiquing everything you do in terms of all of your decisions that you make as a public official, you know, questioning those decisions overall, challenging you based on the fact of your age, perhaps challenging you based on the fact of your race, or maybe in terms of how much experience that you overall bring to the table. But one of the, I think the inspiring messages is overall is to keep going, regardless or irrespective of where you come from, regardless of what you kind of sort of have going on. You just have to keep overall moving. I want to kind of now turn this over to Sharon Stroy, Director of the Office of Public Engagement at Rutgers School of Public Affairs and Administration, because I think it's really important, you know, and I wish that we could have you for a few more hours on this call, Jaylen, but I know obviously you're a busy man and we've got a busy audience too. And we might have to go over just a little few minutes beyond 7 o'clock, just in terms of, because of all of the bios and everything that was read. But I think that is really important if we do and can stay on at least until maybe 7:15 or so, just to kind of get back a few minutes of that time that was missed. because we have a lot of great questions from our audience members. Then, so I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and friend, Sharon Stroy.
Mayor Smith, thank you. Professor Diller, thank you for moderating this particular conversation. And yes, we do. We have some really amazing questions from the audience. This first question is from Mason Williams. And Mason, please be mindful, Mayor Smith is still the mayor in Arkansas. So I may not ask the question the way you said it, but I'm going to make sure I get to it. With the new governor of Arkansas being a former White House press secretary who was loyal to the previous administration, how do you feel about the governor's policies on limiting the ability of teaching history to the students in Arkansas? How do you navigate that, and how do you feel about that, about taking on this issue of blocking history, and regardless of whose history? And as well as, to add to that, how do you navigate your relationship with the things that need to get done in Earle, Arkansas with the current state administrator?
Okay, great question. And so with me, even though my governor is Republican, when it comes down to my party is nonpartisan. And so when it comes down to politics, I'm just gonna be upfront. I do not play politics with Republicans nor Democrats. In my speeches now, when I talk to them, I say this particular piece and they freeze every time I say this. When I met with Governor Sanders, I specifically told her, as politicians, it's not about politics. It's not about what party you play. It's about the politician making a difference so his or her people can succeed. That's what specifically it is about. And so with my conversation with Governor Sanders after that, it has been totally smooth with her. Because at the end of the day, as a governor, I need her support so my people can succeed. I don't care if she's a Republican or a Democrat. I just need her to help me so I can help my people. And so with her taking out Black history and different things in school, I disagree with her on that. Me personally, I feel that she don't have a great understanding of what she's doing or what decisions she make before she make that decision of taking the history out of schools. My thing is that she don't want the other white kids learning about what happened in the past so it can better help the future. And so I haven't had a conversation with her yet regarding that yet, but I'm actually in the process of having those conversations. But I strongly disagree of what not only she's doing, but governors around this country is doing when they talk in terms of, I want to take history out of schools. And with having us as Black people continue to learn about our history so that we can have an even brighter future, you know, seeing what our ancestors did for us, seeing the way they fought to keep us here, for our civil rights. And it's very important as people, as young leaders growing up, that we continue to hold it's very important that we continue to hold up the barrier of what they did to help us. And that's why it's very important that they keep that inside not only schools, but if they eventually take it out of school, the parents still can teach it at home. They don't give the parents the right not to teach it at home, you know, so there's different ways that we can work around with that, but I truly disagree with her on that. And not only that, but the different other things that she's doing here within the state. And I just believe that she don't have a greater understanding of what she's trying to do or what she wants to do to better the state of Arkansas. And having her work on seeing her work on the Trump administration and different things like that, I just believe that her as governor, she just don't know what she wants to do. And as leaders, we got to help her and get her to understand what is she going to do? How is this going to benefit Arkansas? What is this going to do when you implement this in Arkansas? And so when having those conversations with her, I believe that it'll kind of open her eyes more. Because things that you did in Washington not going to work out here in Arkansas. You know, so it's just got to be the fact that she's governor, we know that. But having those conversations with her and helping her understand what she's trying to do and what it's going to do to the people here in Arkansas. Now, whatever she did in DC, it's not gonna work here in Arkansas. It's not, you know, and it's just having conversations with her, even though she's Republican, she'll listen. She'll listen. And because like here in Arkansas, they trying to implement a voucher program, which I disagree with that, because it'll hurt public schools more so. It'll hurt public schools more than it will help them. And I have a school, here in my community, and I promise you, and I can't let that go nowhere. And so by having that voucher program in there and putting money into private schools, you telling me that Black people are capable of having a greater education than white people? And that would mean that voucher program, that would that mean to me? Would it seem like it? But again, when you hire people that's not within the state of Arkansas, coming from Florida to be in a Secretary of Education, no way. And so, again, it just have those conversations with her and her secretary to let him know what you did in Florida not going to work out in Arkansas. Because every state is different. Right. Before you make any decisions, you got to bring everybody to the table that's here in Arkansas. We've been here in Arkansas forever. Well, I haven't been here forever, but our ancestors have been here forever. They know what's best for Arkansas. Right. And so it's just honestly with me, just having those conversations with her, which I'm having those conversations pretty much next week actually with her about those simple facts of what she's trying to do here with Arkansas. But
so honestly, what you're saying, Mayor Smith, is that it doesn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican, how are you going to benefit Arkansas? But that also means, how is that going to benefit whether you're Black, white, green, or purple? How does it benefit the residents of Arkansas?
Right. And I think as politicians, that's what we meant. I believe, honestly, that's what we have messed up at. Honestly. I mean, Black, white, whatever the race is, but as politicians, we have forgotten what our job title is. People elected us you can run a party run any party you want to, but the real reason we elected is to make a difference so your people can succeed. When you elected, who cares that you're a Democrat or a Republican? We just want you to help us. We just want you help us, so just help us. That's what we want. We just want the help and the resources so we can grow. Not only here in Arkansas, but in other states. And I feel like that's the problem that politicians has really messed up at across the globe. Yeah. Because like me as mayor, even though my party is nonpartisan, I care less about a party. My goal and my objective is to make a difference, and so my people can be beneficial to the difference, and so that they can grow. Because again, as politicians too, it's not about us. It's about the people we serve.
Now you've answered this question. This question is from Carsine Hickson, but I'm going to put a different spin on it. And so the question says, how does it feel to lead a city at such a young age? Well, my question to add to that is, where did you gather the wisdom at such a young age? Wait a minute, because you sound like you're talking to me, and I am definitely significantly older than you by a few decades. So the question becomes, where did you get the wisdom that you need, that you have to run this city at just such a young age?
So the wisdom I've gotten, I've always hung around older senior citizens. I don't say older people. I've always hung around senior citizens, and when I've always hung around them, they always tell me about the past and what happened, and the wisdom, and talking about, like I had a senior citizen told me, and she was like that a man's gifts will make room for him. And based off doing the correct thing or the right thing, if you're doing the right thing, your gift, we'll put it like this: doing the right thing will make room, and also working and living in your dream or in your gift will make room for you as well. Just like me winning this campaign, I had to write the vision, make it plain. Even though I know it's going to tarry, I knew it was going to come at a point in time. And with doing that, I knew that I was going to have obstacles, challenges, and distractions. But I knew the devil wanted me to get off course. But I didn't let that happen to me. I knew what my heart wanted me to do, and I knew what God wanted me to do as well. So I just continued to keep my eye on the prize. That's what I call it. I continue to keep my eye on the prize, regardless of what people told me, regardless of what people said, because you only can be the greater you. You only can be the greater you. People can suggest what they think you should do, but you will never know what you're capable of until you try it. And that's what I did. I tried it.
I love it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Next question is from Shaniqua Evans. What challenges have you faced with implementing some of the initiatives that you were highlighted in your campaign? And we talked about public safety. We talked about the grocery store. What are some of the other initiatives that you highlighted in your campaign? And what were some of their challenges trying to implement them and move them forward?
Okay. The challenges that I face is this community have developed so much of old habits and old practices that they don't want to change. And so that is the big challenge that I'm facing here. And so in order for you to change and grow as a community, you have to develop new habits and new practices. And so with transforming this community, this is what we're going to have to do. And a lot of people, they have lived in old habits and old practices so long that they don't want to change into the new habits and new practices. And that's pretty much what I'm facing, that people don't want to change from old habits into the new wheel and the new things that we're trying to do. And with doing that, we're taking it step by step and one P at a time, but it's just that people don't want to change. But you can make them change by implementing those new practices, and they just have to get on board like that. Because change happens for a reason, and this change here is not more so to hurt the people, but it's more so to help them. And with having those conversations with them, they kind of get a better understanding of what I'm trying to do. Because if I communicate saying, I want to do this, but in order for me to do this, we have to stop doing this. And we have to develop a new habit and a new practice. And they get it that way. They're like, okay, we can do that. We can try something new. And more so, since I've talked to them about that, they have been more helpful to them because they know he's trying to change. So in order for him to change, he will have to develop new habits and new practices. And I just take them back to school, took back to the school. Like when we was at school, in order for us to be great or be a better student, we have to get rid of the old habits and implement new habits and new practices. And it's basically the same way.
So it seems like one of the things that you really strive yourself on is active listening and communication. Is that important for political leaders today? Because I'm not quite sure if they're listening to each other in Washington, D.C.
Most definitely. Listening is the key of everything. If they don't do nothing else, listening is the key of everything. Because when you listening, like me, as a mayor, I see and listen to a lot of things. And plus, I know what we're going through because I live here. Now, the people in DC and in Washington, they not here with us every day. So they don't understand of how we feel, of how it can make us better. Because they make the decisions based on what they think, and not based on what they know. Or not having those conversations. Like with being a mayor, in order for you to make an effective change, you have to go in and listen to your constituents. You have to go out, you have to get a table and pull them to the table and ask them what their needs are. Even though we as leaders, we know what the need are, but we just want to hear it from them. And so that's pretty much, will make a pretty much effective leader.
Awesome. So this next question is from, please correct me if I say it wrong, Odilise Rodriguez. She would like to know, who are some of your political role models and why?
Number one is, Dr. Martin Luther King, President Bill Clinton, President Obama, Vice President Harris and different other leaders that have came. And why is because the drive that they have in getting things done and the vision that they have and the way they pursue that vision. And by looking at them and seeing what they're doing and as leading it, and it kind of helped me as well, because as a leader, we know that we can't get everything done overnight. But showing the people effort, action, and results, that would matter to them the most. To show them that you're trying to do what's best. You're trying to make the change and you're trying to implement the best benefits to help our community. And so watching them listen to their motivational speech, I know one speech President Obama said. He said, if your voice can change a room, your voice can change a city. If your voice can change a city, your voice can change a state. And if that voice can change a state, it can change the world. And that's a living truth. It can. It really can. Then I look to Dr. Martin Luther King. This quote right here, it motivates me the most. And he said, I look to a day. Hold on, let me find out. Okay. He said, I look to a day when people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And also another one that stuck out to me too of him, he said the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in the times of challenge, in the time of challenge. And so all three of those quotes, every time I read them, it just motivates me more and more and more. Because looking at those powerful quotes that they write are so powerful. And we as people, we're powerful beyond measure. We're more powerful than we think we are. And it's just, with looking at those role models, and it just going back every day, looking at them, reading their quotes and looking at the videos and speeches they gave and different quotes they did. It just amazes me every day of why life is so worthwhile.
Awesome. We have another question, and you talked about not having an industry. And so from Algebra Holmes would like to know, what steps will you take or taken to help business groups in Earle or create some long-term economic growth and stability? What are you going? What is your vision to increase the economic stability for the business in Earle?
I'm sorry, can you read that question for me one more time? I want to kind of get a great understanding.
It's okay. You're a mayor, and there are things going on around you, and we're just grateful that you're taking the time out. We completely understand. What steps are you taking to help the business groups in Earle to create some economic growth and stability?
So what I'm doing actually, I have actually leaned on the White House to guy that's over the U.S. U.S. small businesses. I can't particular what particular department. I know he's over the U.S. Department of Small Business. I think that's what it is. And so what he will do, he will find out the why of the problem of how they can grow and what are the benefits that can help their store grow. And so I'm actually going to start having a conversation with him based off how can he help my businesses within this city or in this community grow to have a bigger, better business. And so long, the previous administration and the previous businesses, they didn't like to reach out and network for help. And I'm a type of mayor. I'm a networker. I'm a person that will reach out and ask you, can you help me? And so with having those conversations and having those meetings with those business leaders, now they see, okay, well, making a phone call can be more beneficial to help my business. And so with making that phone call, getting it set up, it will be so much more beneficial to them because he'll come to see what are ways that he can help their business grow and make it or expand their business.
Right. Absolutely. Your citizens, now that you are mayor, there were some that voted for you and there were some that probably didn't vote for you. How do you engage all of the residents of Earle, Arkansas?
How I engage with them is I kind of use all of our social media platforms. We're getting ready to start a one call system where we send text messages out and they go to every residence in the city of what's going on. And not only doing that, we kind of send around news, not newsletters, but flyers and different things we have within the community, and to kind of keep them up to par what's going on. But to really keep them up to par, this one call system that I'm actually going to get ready to kind of implement here next month will be more beneficial to them, because it'll actually come to their cell phones. Like if a shooting happened in the community, an event go out, we just send it out through text messaging and hit entire city. They'll know what's going on. And so I think that'll more so help them, keep them more engaged with that system of sending the large text out like that.
Question, when your tenure of being mayor of Arkansas is over, however long that is, what do you say you want to have accomplished?
What I want to have accomplished within my term, because I plan, Lord's will, I plan to do 2 terms here as mayor. And when I get done with that, I want to see Earle double the size than what it is now, for 4 years. So my goal is so now Earle, a small city, trash everywhere, a whole lot of abandoned houses. So within 4 years, I want to see all the trash is gone. I want to see more houses, a grocery store here within a 4-year term. Most of the streets are fixed within a 4-year term. More businesses coming to the community. Our parks are fixed up. And in 8 years, I don't know if y'all probably familiar with these other cities like Marion, West Memphis, but I want Earle to be half of the size of Marion or West Memphis, with 15,000 population. Hopefully in 8 years, Earle should be up to at least 10 to 12,000 people. That's the goal. And so within that goal, it's a lot of things we have to do. A lot of development going to have to happen. A lot of infrastructure is going to need to be improved to get them to come here. Because a lot of people do want to come back home where they're from, but it's just that we don't have the housing or the property or where for them to stay. And I believe, me personally, as a mayor and as a believer, I believe in 4 years, Earle will be double the size it is right now. Matter of fact, I'll just say pretty much it's already done. We're just fighting the courses and doing the groundwork.
Awesome. My last question, unless there's some other questions in the chat, is what advice do you have to the people who are watching this now, people who will watch it on replay, for transforming their own communities, regardless of their role, though for the students that are in the School of Public Affairs Administration, as a wise 18-year-old, what advice would you give them for transforming their own communities?
Great question. Number one, believe that you can do all things. And number two, do what your heart desires you to do, which is finding out what is your purpose. And not only that, with making the difference, you don't have to be a mayor or a city council or anything like that to make a difference in your community. Continue to fight to make the difference, regardless of what people tell you, regardless of the feedback and negative comments that you get, because we all get them, because it's life. And more so, use it as motivation to prove them wrong in the end, because when you prove them wrong, there's nothing they can say. But the only thing they're gonna say is, "I knew that you could do it," even though you knew that you the one saying I couldn't do it. But so how, so just do what your heart desires you to do. Write the vision, make it plain. Even though it may tarry, it's going to come at an appointed time. And just always believe that always know that you're powerful than you think.
Mayor Smith, I want to thank you on behalf of Dean Greg Van Ryzen, the faculty, staff, students, the School of Public Affairs Administration at Rutgers University, Newark. We want to thank you for your time. Thank you for all of your efforts. I'm going to give Council President LaMonica McIver a moment to say some closing remarks, as well as A special thank you to Professor Michael Dillard, who found that this was valuable for our community to close us out. So, Council President McIver, some closing remarks on behalf of the mayor and the city council.
So the one thing I will just say is, wow, like what a conversation. Mayor Smith, you literally have blown me away this evening. I mean, so many gems, so many things I can relate to, that you talked about, and it just has really just been a delight to listen to you. One thing my grandmother used to always say, she used to say about us, but she definitely says it about my daughter. When we meet young people that are like so much filled with wisdom, so mature, they'll say, well, you've been here before. And so I'm gonna leave you with that. You've definitely been here before. And it's just a delight and a pleasure to, have this conversation and to, listen to you this evening. And I hope that, we get the opportunity to cross paths and speak again. And I know definitely with our mayor, he would be delighted if you haven't had the opportunity to meet our mayor, Mayor Raj J. Baraka, who is amazing. Definitely amazing, definitely progressive, groundbreaking. And he would be delighted to meet you. And so hopefully, we're all in a space at some time in some place to be able to meet. But, most blessings to you, most blessings, Godspeed to you as you embark on this, well, you're already embarking, but as you continue to embark on this journey, and if anything we can be of assistance to you here in Newark, on behalf of our mayor and our city council, please just let us know, and we'll be more than willing to do that. So thank you, Sharon, and thank you, Dr. Dillard, for hosting this evening. This was amazing.
LaMonica, maybe we can get him to come to the mayor's town hall meeting for men. I'm just saying.
Oh
I would love
oh
that.
yeah.
I would love to come down and visit you all in person. Most definitely.
Yes, the
Yes, that would
mayor
be great.
does
Yeah.
a citywide town hall meeting for men. I'm just saying, LaMonica, put a bug in the mayor's ear.
Oh, for sure. I will definitely let him know. We are, as you know, preparing here in the city of Newark to unveil tomorrow the Harriet Tubman Monument here in the city, and at the first ever in our city, Harriet Tubman Square. So we are wrapped tight into that work for tomorrow. And so, I mean, I'll definitely be talking about Mayor Smith tomorrow, and definitely getting him here. It would be just such a delight, to have you, and just to let other people experience what we experienced tonight.
Thank you.
Thank
y'all
you
again for having me.
Professor Dillard, closing remarks, sir.
Oh man, it's so hard to follow after LaMonica, but she's absolutely right. So the one thing that I want to just say, Mayor Smith, is absolutely Mayor Raz Baraka of the city of Newark will always be, and LaMonica knows this very well, will always be a teacher first. And he is willing to roll up his sleeves and certainly help support you and give you that type of guidance and mentoring. We here at Rutgers, the School of Public Affairs and Administration, anything that we can also do to help you, trust me, this will not be the last time that you're going to hear from someone named Michael Dillard. Audience members, just know this. I really appreciate this young guy. I know he had a crazy busy schedule. And just no matter how many times I called and bugged him on the phone, and he knows this, he always would just say, you know what, I'm down for this. I'm going to help Rutgers Spa. I'm traveling next week to Washington, but I got this going on. I've got that going on. But I'm going to make some time for the Spa family. And you are certainly a man of your word. At 18, I can only imagine what you're going to be at 20 and 30. And yes, I heard you on ABC News as well as CNN when they asked you those questions in terms of, we could see a future for you around becoming a congressman, senator, governor one day. And yes, I did listen further when you said, and also one day, future president of the United States. And so I know, and absolutely, as Councilwoman President McIver said, in Godspeed, you've got this. You've got a whole family wrapped around you, and we will do everything that we can to support you. So I will turn it back over to our Zoom buddy, and the one that's just kind of been managing all of this, and just my partner in crime, of just, always welcoming my ideas and saying, well, let's just make it happen. even on vacation or whatever, traveling, whatever. Look, we're gonna make this happen. We are gonna have this young man in, and we're gonna roll out the red carpet for him. And that's exactly what Sharon Stroy did. So I'll turn it back over to you, Sharon.
Michael, thank you so much. Yes, actually, I am traveling, not in New Jersey, but that's why, that's why we're in the space of technology. For those who are participating, please continue to follow the School of Public Affairs Administration on our social media platforms and channels. We have a alumni panel coming up in the week of the 20th of March for Giving Day. It is Giving Days, and so you'll have an opportunity to hear from the graduates as to why it's important to contribute to our SPA Ambassador Program. Continue to follow us, and it is our pleasure to be able to bring these types of conversations and presentations to you. As you can see right here, he is the mayor of Earle, Arkansas. All things are possible. So on behalf of the dean, the faculty, staff, students, and myself, it is an honor and pleasure for those who did not find it robbery to join us tonight. Be safe, have a good evening, and have a good night. Thank you, Mayor Smith, so much for your time and your words of wisdom.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to coming down to visit New Jersey.
Absolutely, absolutely. We will be on it. Good night, everyone.